Alrighty, brothers and sisters, we got some bullish charts today. The market is about to explode. Now, Bitcoin did hit 110,000, still going up. Now, we need to pray for those that sold the bottoms, for the Jeets and the spaghetti hands, because this is looking really bullish now. We got Ethereum as well breaking up. Now, Ethereum has broken above a very massive, strong support resistance type of line, which is 2,500. Now, that was a strong resistance here, 2,500. You remember it got rejected from 2,800, which is still a strong resistance. But the most important is that we bounced strongly from 2,100. I did not want to see Ethereum going below 2,000 again. Now it is above 2,500. This is strong, and you see, guys, now when this pumps, when Ethereum pumps, altcoins start to rally, start to go crazy. We got a Brett on 8, very good bounce from yesterday, and got this double bottom here, and then strong bounce, broke this downtrend. Very good stuff to see because Ethereum is pumping. Now you see, guys, how Ethereum really affects the market, and that's why today the video says cryptos are about to explode, because this is what's happening here. So we're gonna get to it. Now, Ethereum is what you need to be looking at when you are feeling bad about your portfolio, especially if you are holding long-term plays. Now, if you are gambling on pump fund or new launches like meme coins that just launched, I've seen a coin right recently, some new launch. I'll pray for you, but try not to do that. Try to get into long-term established coins that's been around for a while. Do not FOMO into new pumps, new coins. That's the most important rule, because overall everything will pump. Everything that stayed around will pump. It's just that do not FOMO into anything that just launched. That's the most important. Something that just launched out of the blue, started to rally. That's not a good idea in general. So overall here, back to the video. Now, when Ethereum rallies, pumps happen. Now remember that. Now, what I noticed here as well is we have this double bottom here on Ethereum like we had in 2021, before the bull market of 2021. It's just that it got extended. Now, Ethereum had no reason to fall. Usually there has to be a reason for it to fall. Usually back in the days here, this was the bear market, and the second one was the bug, the lockdowns. Now, since the bear market here, FTX collapsing, things like that, Ethereum showed strength. In fact, it did not crash in any major sustainable way since the bear market until the tariffs. For some reason, that's what caused Ethereum to crash. So we had the double crash. Now, that's what it seems to be the case for Ethereum. It has this double crashes, then boom, and sends higher. Now, we even have here two double crashes, right? So you got these. This is the before the 2017 double bottom, and then it sends. Now here again double bottom and it sends, and now this possibly is the double bottom. Not possibly, very likely, because this was the tariffs low. This was as low as it can get. Now, in fact, this was a bit Ethereum going below 1,500. This felt really bad. This felt like a bear market. This felt like possibly Ethereum going below 1,000, which would be doomsday, basically bear market type of stuff. So now we're seeing it rally. Now, if we add others, which is all other cryptocurrencies besides the big ones, so these are all the altcoins that are tiny ones. Now, whenever, let's put this. Now, whenever ETH breaks above its previous all-time high, that's when the fireworks happens. So you see this one here, this peak. So when Ethereum breaks above its all-time high, whenever he likes to do that, so this was the candle. So this others chart does not include Ethereum. It is only other coins that are below the top 10s. So they do rally. Why they are rallying? Because there is an alt season. That's when they start to rally. They rally collectively and they dump collectively. Does not matter what narrative and whatever they have. Now, overall, obviously the ones that have stronger narratives pump harder than the ones that have weaker narratives. This cycle we have meme coins as the strongest narrative. Back in the days here, we had ETH killers. So if you bought Atom, Cardano, anything that said, I am the next Ethereum, you made 100x. On the second one, we had gaming. Now, gaming coins, whatever game, even the shittiest Flappy Bird game coin will rally and do 100x on the second rally. just because Ethereum is pumping. It creates FOMO, it creates hype. People start to try, people miss out, which is very important, and I'm gonna get to. People are sidelined, so they miss Ethereum rally because everybody's just sitting on the sideline in disbelief, waiting for Ethereum to rally. Once that happens, now they feel like they missed out and they want to compensate by going into other coins. That's what creates an alt season. So basically, that was the bulk of 2021. And that's what started it. Now, so far, as you see, others is weak. And that is due to Ethereum below its all-time high. But overall, we have some sort of this uptrend. It is a tiny one, but it is an uptrend nonetheless. And it is doing this, right? This is a parabola, and then it ends, right? But this would wait for Ethereum to break up and get above its all-time high, which is around 4,000 or 5,000, and that's when this will go crazy. So overall, these things are going as planned. It's just that the reason it feels different than 2021, which is actually different than 2021, it's because of this here. This is different. So here we had a double bottom. Now, as I said, Ethereum needs a reason to dump. It does not dump out of nowhere, but it needs a reason, like news. So here it happened back to back after the bear market. A few months later, we had the bug, and then boom, that was the reason why it crashed. So it needs some reason for it to crash. Otherwise, it just keep going up. Now, that's what we have here. We finally did this. Now, as soon as Ethereum breaks its all-time high, that's what's gonna cause the alt season. What's gonna cause Ethereum to break its all-time high? That would be a good question. That would be the ETFs. Now, recently we've seen Solana ETFs, and as expected, Solana did not rally that much, and it was expected because now we're noticing since Bitcoin has its ETF and it was the largest inflows, and Bitcoin really rallied hard after it. We've seen 8 ETFs, and they were not the greatest. So now recently they just start to pick back up, but whenever there is a new ETF, it performs worse than the previous one. So that was expected for Solana to see that happen to it. Now, Solana did not see a great inflow or great pump from its ETF news and approval start trading. But nonetheless, it is still gonna rally with the alt season, and everything is gonna rally with the alt season, as I said. And the ETFs today are still very strong, especially when it comes to ETH. That's what we care about. For Bitcoin, they are the strongest. But for ETH, now we're seeing them peak back up. Like, that's what caused the previous rally, and that's what we're seeing now happen. And keep in mind, we already got rid and rinsed all the sellers on this with this major crash, and now we're seeing it rally back up. So these are all exciting news. I'm very excited to see this, and this just confirms to me that we are on the right path, that we are still headed upwards, still headed towards an all season, and that makes me feel calm and relaxed and confident that we're gonna go higher, so I don't have to stress about looking for a job. So the thing is, people are still in disbelief, and that's what's caused Bitcoin to keep going up as well. Now, since the bear market, because I've been here and I've seen what people were saying when Bitcoin started to rally, everybody was calling for this to dump. Since that time, whenever Bitcoin rallies, people will call for it to go back down. There was always a reason for them to say it's gonna crash. Each time it rallies, people will say it's gonna crash, and the reason they say that is because they are sidelined. They did not buy anything, and that will cause them to even FOMO harder and crazy hard on altcoins as well, because they missed big here. They missed literally 15k Bitcoin, and I remember on Twitter I was posting about this is pretty much the bottom of the bottoms, and still people were fearful. So you can imagine how sidelined they were. And the biggest indicator is the funding rate, which is now below 0.0100%. So which means people are shorting. People do not believe the rally. Still a disbelief rally. It's not a hype or euphoria, which usually mark close to a top. This is disbelief still at $110,000 Bitcoin, and an Ethereum that is looking like it's going higher. So overall, we're still seeing the same playbook play out since the 15k bottom on Bitcoin and the uptrend started. Whenever we have a strong Bitcoin and Bitcoin is rallying, we have negative funding rate, which means people are shorting in disbelief, which means short squeezing. Prices keep going up while the ETFs are piling up and buying up. So the same recipe leads to the same results, which are going higher. So that's what I'm seeing here. I'm just happier to see that this is happening, right? As I explained, it feels good to know that you are on the right path, and that's what we're seeing here. And especially the daily candle on Bitcoin closed pretty strong above this range. Now we had this range here around 108,000 and 87k. This is pretty much a range where Bitcoin was ranging. It goes below it, above it, and now we broke above this kind of parallel channel. It closed the daily above it, and now we're still above it. I would say that we're retesting. If we go lower here on the lower time frames, we are retesting this. We had the first retest, then rally, and then now we're around here. Today was the news about the unemployment rate, so that's why we had some volatility. But usually volatility after the news like the related to the economy does cause a bit of a shakeout, and then continuation to whatever the trend was, which was up to the upside here. So possibly we're going to see a new all-time high here on Bitcoin, which means if that happens, we're going to have a strong summer and an all season pretty much starting from September till the end of the year. Then we have the end of the bull market. If not, if we continue to just range and we shake out, Bitcoin goes back up here and then comes back down. This means we are extended and we're gonna have an all season that starts later this year and in 2026. Now those are both scenarios. Both of them tell us that we're gonna have an all season, and that is due to either the ETH BTC chart or the Bitcoin dominance chart, which are both are just reversed. It's just the reverse of each other. Now if we add the Bitcoin dominance, is just a reverse ETH BTC, because whenever ETH BTC starts to rally, that causes the Bitcoin dominance to drop, which causes an all season. So this has not started yet. The ETH BTC chart has just bounced from a very strong low. In fact, if we add the RSI, that's usually what indicates bottoms. Very good indicator. The RSI, very good indicator to mark the bottoms. And that's, I remember I shared this on YouTube as well. Now, when you see this RSI on the weekly going to this red shaded area, or the lowest point in this RSI, this happened back in 2019 before the rally and before the 2020-2021 rally, and you can see how this plays out perfectly. This was the time. We can mark it here. This was the bottom on the ETH BTC and marking the top on the Bitcoin dominance, and we had the same thing here, which was the lowest point on the RSI, marking the bottom on ETH BTC, starting a new cycle. So that's when the real fireworks will start. That's when the real alt season will start, when this actually start to show massive strength, which means ETH is outperforming Bitcoin, and usually people will start to sell Bitcoin to buy ETH because they will notice the difference and the outperformance, and especially that we have ETFs. Now these ETFs can swap from Bitcoin to ETH, and ETH possibly will have staking ETFs, which means these people can stake, causing more and more supply shock on Ethereum and causing more rallies on Ethereum. And people that stake on Ethereum earn rewards in ETH, which will cause them to buy coins in ETH ecosystem, because they will have enough money to not know what to do with it other than buy meme coins on Ethereum. So that's very big. And that's what I'm looking at. And overall, this video is about the market's about to explode, because everything is looking like it is happening. We are on the right path and things are looking good here. Thank God. And congratulations for staying this long here, guys, for staying strong. Only the strong are left here. The market is not really optimistic at all, fear and greed and neutral. People do not believe we're going to have an all season, let alone make money in here or nothing like that. People are very fearful, and something I do think is gonna happen, and I hope you will not fall for it. And this happened in 2020. A lot of people in 2019 were so afraid because of the COVID dump that they sold early, and I was one of them. I had Doge very early. I bought it because it was on Binance and it was low, and I was thinking this is what is this? Is a gem. And the reason I sold it early, because I followed whatever people were talking about, and people were scared, and I had to sell it early, thinking that this is not gonna happen. And let me take you back there. Back in the time here, what happened is we had the COVID crash, and then the market recovered, and a lot of people sold here. That's where a lot of people sold. They were thinking that's it, it's over. Everybody was selling here. Let's sell. Bitcoin is never coming back. Remember that this was the COVID crash. This was like end of the world type of stuff, and a lot of people got exhausted after a long time of being sideways. Now, this how long we were sideways back in the days here. So this is around 987 days, or let's call it 1,000 days. 1,000 days of sideways. A lot of people lost hope, and fear was exactly like today. And a lot of people felt hopeless and just sold whenever they could and just left because they were tired. This was also leading towards summer. So what happened is new participants came in, and the people that actually joined early 2020 and 2021 are the ones that made most of the money, and not the people from 2017 because they got tired. So a lot of people, I'm expecting that could be the case again, where a lot of people that joined in 2024 especially, or after Trump, these two peaks here, these people that joined in here have seen no gains, have seen no real pumps, and once they will see that, they will sell early. That's what I'm thinking. And then the people that are gonna join after them are the ones that are gonna make most of the money. Now, in fact, we're seeing already this play out. Now, if we look at ETH USD, you will see what happened, but this was more of a shakeout. Now, people that got shaken out here with the tariffs, this was the lowest point of the crypto history, with Ethereum below 1,400. Now, you see that a lot of altcoins went to their lowest point ever, and people sold there. So a lot of people that been here since at least 2022 probably sold here and got that said and got done with crypto and lost hope. Now, if we take you to Breton ETH, for example, Breton ETH went to $3 million market cap. This was the lowest point, never came back to it after that. And people would never get back there, these type of entries again. And just because they got tired. Now, but the thing is, what I'm thinking is this gonna start to rally and people will sell and think that's it, I'm tired, I'm done, let me get my 2x and leave. And the people that will join after them are gonna make most of the money. That's a scenario that I see could happen, and you should not fall for it if that happens. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with that. But the basic thing here, the basic premise of not falling for this is to wait for a new all-time high on Ethereum and monitor Ethereum very well. This is our indicator here. As long as this is strong, we are good to go. As long as this keeps going higher, we do not need to be fearful or shaken out or nothing like that, as long as it's doing this. Now, at some point, it's gonna pull back, give us some sort of a trend break, and then maybe a retest of the trend. That's your exit. So pretty much that's something that I've seen a lot of people fall for back in 2020, and I do think now we're gonna see the same thing play out, because it plays out all the time, and especially looking at how much disbelief is there in the market today, it does feel like nobody believes in this anymore, and those people are gonna get left behind. If they have not sold yet, they will sell every pump and they will get left behind after that, because it's gonna get aggressive. A lot of people are in disbelief, as you see. Even the whales, when it comes to Bitcoin, are shorting because they are in disbelief. They are left behind and they want to make some money. They have not been eating well this whole uptrend on Bitcoin since Bitcoin went to 15K. This whole trend, Bitcoin people have not been eating well because they missed the whole rally, and whenever Bitcoin pumps, they want to short it to make some money back, to buy some ramen noodle or something, because they really missed the rally. So that's what's been causing the rallies to continue, and people will FOMO, and they will FOMO hard. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video till the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.